In Activity 4, Meet the Fruit Fly, students begin their study of the animal life cycle. Students first identify and observe fruit flies, then record the characteristics of fruit flies, and finally begin their observations of the fruit fly life cycle. You will need the following materials from the kit. Activity Sheet 4, Parts A and B. Fruit fly culture in living material shipment. A magnifier, file folders, fruit fly life cycle pictures, and masking tape. To prepare for the activity, order the fruit fly cultures 4 weeks before the activity. Make sure to begin the activity within 3 days of receiving the shipment. Make a copy of Activity Sheet 4, Part A for each student, and 4 or 5 copies of Activity Sheet 4, Part B for each team of 2. Also, make 1 copy of the adult fruit fly picture included in the fruit fly life cycle picture set. Then, designate an area of the classroom for students to store their fruit fly vials, magnifiers, and file folders for use during the daily observation sessions. To begin the activity, distribute a vial of fruit flies, a small strip of masking tape, and a magnifier to each team of 2. Instruct each team to label their vial with the piece of masking tape. Make sure students know to not open the vials or peel away the tape. Ask students, what do you see in your vial? Accept all reasonable answers. If students do not identify the animals correctly, explain that fruit flies are a type of harmless fly that scientists often use in laboratory tests and experiments. Students may like to know that these flies get their name because they are attracted to the sugary juices in ripe and overly ripe fruit. Next, direct students' attention to the chart, Characteristics of Living, Non-Living, and Dead Things. Ask students, based on your observations, do you think the fruit flies are living, non-living, or dead things, and why? Students may observe that they can see the fruit flies move around, which is a characteristic of living things. Let students know that the vials contain everything the fruit flies need to live. Then ask, what do living animals need to live? Students should respond that animals need food, water, and air to live. Instruct the class to examine the vials carefully and point out that the material in the bottom of each vial is a moist, fruit-based substance that provides the fruit flies with food and water. Also let students know that the tape on the lid allows air to enter and exit the vial. Next, distribute a copy of Activity Sheet 4, Part A, to each student. Using the magnifier, encourage team members to work together to observe, draw, and record the characteristic of the fruit flies. When all students have completed their activity sheets, discuss their findings and compile a classroom list of the characteristics of fruit flies on the board. Characteristics that students may identify include tiny size, 2 wings, 6 legs, the ability to walk, and the ability to fly. Ask students, do you think these fruit flies are babies or adults? Encourage students to provide evidence and accept all reasonable responses. Then tell the class that although they are tiny, these fruit flies are all adults. Define adult as an animal or plant that is fully developed or grown up. Then distribute to each team of 2 a copy of the adult fruit fly picture and instruct students to compare their drawings and list of characteristics to the picture of the adult fruit fly. Encourage the class to identify characteristics that were too small for them to identify on their living flies, such as large eyes, small antenna, and segmented body. Add these characteristics to the classroom list and let students change their activity sheet drawings as necessary. Next, hand out 4 or 5 copies of Activity Sheet 4, Part B, to each team. Encourage partners to work together to record daily observations of their fruit flies, showing the date of observation and what they observed on their activity sheets. Finally, inform students that they will have more opportunities to observe changes in their fruit flies in Activity 5, Observing the Fruit Fly. To conclude the activity, have students place their vials together in a safe place out of direct sunlight where they can freely observe their fruit flies without disturbing the vials of other students. Return the masking tape to the kit and place the magnifiers and file folders with the vials in this designated area. Make sure to hold on to the pictures showing other life cycle stages for use during future activities. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.